Hey guys, Mr. Backward here. In this video, we're going to be looking at power-reducing identities. Now, as we're looking at our power-reducing identities, the goal of these power-reducing identities is to be able to take something with a higher power on it and rewrite it as something that doesn't have that power on it. So as far as the sine squared of u, our identity says 1 minus cosine of 2u over 2. For the cosine squared of u, the identity we've got there is 1 plus the cosine of 2u over 2. And for the tangent squared of u, we've got 1 minus the cosine of 2u over 1 plus the cosine of 2u. So in this example, what we want to do is rewrite the cosine of the fourth power of x in terms of a trig function with no power greater than 1. So we're going to use our power-reducing identities to simplify this down to help us get rid of those powers in there. So as we're looking at the cosine of the fourth power of x, what we should recognize is that's like having cosine squared of x squared again. So what I can do is I can use one of my power-reducing formulas on the inside with that cosine squared of x. So I can make that 1 plus cosine of 2x over 2, but then we've still got that squared power on the outside. Now, we need to be a little bit careful. As we're squaring this fraction, we're going to square the top and the bottom. So the denominator is pretty easy because 2 squared is just 4. On the top, when we square this 1 plus the cosine of 2x, what that really means is happening is we're taking 1 plus the cosine of 2x times another 1 plus the cosine of 2x. So we're going to have to FOIL that out. So 1 times 1 is 1. Then 1 times the cosine of 2x is the cosine of 2x. 1 times this cosine of 2x is cosine of 2x. And then the cosine of 2x times the cosine of 2x is going to be the cosine squared of 2x. Now there are some like terms that we can combine on top. We've got this cosine of 2x plus another cosine of 2x. So we've got 1 plus 2 cosine of 2x plus that cosine squared of 2x. And this is all over 4. Now what I'm going to do in here is I'm actually going to split up these fractions. So I'm going to take that 1 and put it over the 4, plus 2 cosine of 2x, and I'm going to put that over the 4, plus the cosine squared of 2x, and I'm going to put that over the 4. Now we can reduce down this fraction in the middle. That 2 over 4 is going to reduce down to 1 over 2. So we've got 1/4 plus the cosine of 2x over 2, plus this cosine squared of 2x over 4. Now we're not done, because we said that we didn't want to have any powers greater than 1. And right here, we still have a cosine squared. So we're actually going to need to use another power-reducing identity in there. So I'm not going to change the first pieces at all. So this is going to stay as a 1/4. This is going to stay as a cosine of 2x over 2. But what I can do with this is I can actually make this 1/4 times, and then I'm going to use my power-reducing identity again with this. So this is going to be 1 plus the cosine of 2 times 2x over 2. Now that 2 times 2x is really just going to turn into a 4x. So we're going to have 1/4 plus the cosine of 2x over 2 plus 1/4 times 1 plus the cosine of 4x over 2. But now inside of our parentheses, we can actually split that fraction up as well. So we can make this 1/2 plus the cosine of 4x over 2. But then I'm going to take this 1/4 and I'm going to distribute it in. So we get 1/4 plus the cosine of 2x over 2 plus 1/4 times 1/2 is 1/8. And if we take this 1/4 times this fraction, we're going to get the cosine of 4x all over 8. Now there's actually a couple of like terms that we can combine with this 1/4 and this 1/8. We are going to need common denominators though. So I'm going to multiply this 1/4 on top and bottom by 2. So that becomes 2/8. And if we add another 1/8 to that, that becomes 3/8 plus this cosine of 2x over 2 plus this cosine of 4x over 8. Now, this is maybe a little tricky with these fractions in here. So for my final step, what I'm actually going to do is factor out 1/8 so that we only have one fraction in our problem as opposed to 3 fractions. So if I factor 1/8 out of 3/8, then I'm actually just going to be left with 3. If I factor 1/8 out of this cosine of 2x over 2, we actually get 4 cosine of 2x. And if I factor 1/8 out of this cosine of 4x over 8, then we just get the cosine of 4x. Now, it actually took using our power reducing formulas twice, but we were able to reduce down that cosine to the 4th power of x into something that only had first powered trig functions in it. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.